This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
G'day everyone, and welcome to another main event show review with your host Daniel from Australia. And I'm happy to be here today on this lovely weather, enjoying this Australian summer for sure, and also being able to have a look at what's going on in the WWE hemisphere as well. As you can probably tell, last week was not the best in terms of audio quality. I'm not really sure what happened with my microphone. However, I was able to purchase a new one, and running some tests before obviously recording this today, it's a lot better and it sounds a lot better. So hopefully that will also sound good for you guys on that end. And we'll be able to hopefully continue with the episodes as I've mentioned every week. Just getting the flow and just understanding how we can kind of continue to give out the reviews here, especially with Main Event. For those that don't know, is a pre-show to Monday Night Raw. Episodes come out on Thursdays, and we normally just have two matches with a few floating Raw and SmackDown segments from last week's show or the previous show. So, continuing to review that, giving my takes on what's happening in WWE. We're getting close to Royal Rumble, and then we're getting close to WrestleMania as well. So, a lot to cover. Netflix as well on Raw, looking like it's becoming a staple. Last week's episode felt more like a proper wrestling show, which was good to see. And with SmackDown also being 3 hours long, we're getting a lot of wrestling content, which is great. It's great to talk about, and it's perfect for giving my takes and review on the platform, which I'm more than happy to do on a regular basis. But I guess without further ado, we can start with the fourth show of this main event review. And we start with the match with the Pure Fusion Collective of Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. We had Shayna Baszler fight last week in main event, so this is back-to-back main event matches for her, but this time in a tag team setting with Katana Chance and Kayden, who've regularly made appearances here. They don't seem to be able to get any spots on Raw at the moment or SmackDown, so not really sure what is happening with them. I guess they're going to continue to be them low cards or main event type fighters and just staying on those shows floating around here. But we do get a match with Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, with them getting the victory here. It was actually a really good match. A lot of combinations working really well. Katana Chance and Kayden did impress me with their movesets, and it does seem like they work really well together as a tag team, and then also with Pure Fusion Collective being able to to showcase the contrast between athleticism and pure power, which was demonstrated in the last move where we saw a pretty crazy move, Katana Chance, I think jumping on top of, was it Shayna Baszler's feet, and then attempting a Hurricanrana, but then Zoe Stark obviously counting it with her power, setting up Shayna Baszler for the knee to the face and getting the count here. I think it was the right decision, due to the fact that if what you're seeing on Raw, they're looking like they're trying to get involved in the Intercontinental Championship conversations, especially with what Zoe Stark said on Raw last week, which kind of sparked a bit of tension between PFC, but a much needed win here, and I think the right choice. It's good to see PFC getting some momentum. Hopefully that can translate onto Raw, because as I mentioned last week, it would be good to see these guys just go up a bit of a level, causing havoc in the locker room. And now with the new belts, or the mid-card belts, it seems like it's a perfect spot for them. And what we'll mention, we'll go into the match between Lyra Valkyria and Dakota Kai, but the winner of that, which was Lyra Valkyria, has set up, I guess, a perfect feud with PFC, because there's not really that many heels or mid-card heels on the roster at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see what will happen next week on Raw. based on that promo that we got from Zoe Stark and Sonya Deville. Whether they have tensions or they manage to kind of continue to be a powerhouse. It'd be a shame if they were split up, because it feels as though they were really hyped up to be something, and to shut that down within like 6 to 8 months, yeah, it would be a surprise. But again, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And again, they're getting the much needed win here, the much deserved win, and some momentum going into hopefully Raw in the future, and what I've just mentioned as well. The show, moving on, the show then transitions into SmackDown. We're a bit late on SmackDown because obviously the latest show has been reviewed and posted, but the SmackDown before that, where Cody Rhodes and Jimmy Uso get into a match between Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, and my first thinking is, why the hell is Cody Rhodes again getting involved in bloodline stuff? Like, he was supposed to move on from that, and now he's fighting Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga again. Like, maybe they didn't have anyone set up for that, but it just really didn't make sense. I don't get it. I still think that he should be away from the bloodline storyline. We've been dealing with this for nearly a year and a half, and now he's getting another match with them. So yeah, I don't really understand what the angle is here. But anywho, seems as though as well that Cody's become best mates with Jimmy Uso too, and they're just coming out together fighting as a tag team. But he then abandons him because obviously Kevin Owens interferes. We all know what happens. Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga getting the victory, which was expected. I feel as though that they're starting to really push Jacob Fatu up. He still hasn't lost a match. Well, hasn't been pinned, if you can count the Survivor Series match, but he hasn't been pinned, or he hasn't looked like he's been weak like Solo has at all, or as Tama Tonga. So yeah, expected win here, showing Jacob Fatu's strength, and hopefully we're going to see stuff moving forward with him. But yeah, due to the fact that I think Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes obviously were battling and fighting and continuing that feud, which I've been a massive fan of. We all know that, or I can't really see a world where Kevin Owens is going to defeat Cody Rhodes, but we can safely say this has probably been the most interesting or best feud that Cody has had post WrestleMania. You can see that they're doing a really good job to make it real personal. Every time they see each other, they're always attacking each other. There's always needs to be security guards. And then we saw at the end when they both got put through the table, which was awesome to see. But yeah, I don't want to see Cody Rhodes get involved with the bloodline again. That would be great. It's enough that he's with Kevin Owens in his feud at the moment, and it just doesn't really make sense when we've got the ladder match coming up against the two. And yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen again. And if it does, we'll be really frustrated. I will touch up quickly. There was a segment on the promo that basically Paul Heyman saying that if Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble, he's going to challenge Cody there. Which I hope I don't see that again either. I don't want to see that again, but I think it might happen because of what I saw with The Rock. And yeah, I don't want to see Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns fight. As I mentioned before, I'd prefer to see Roman fight with The Rock with no titles on the line, and Cody fighting Randy. Whether that's WrestleMania or not, I feel as though that should happen too. When Randy does decide to come back, hopefully he comes back sooner rather than later. But yeah, that's all on what happened on SmackDown. Then we move over onto Raw for that Intercontinental Championship match, which was a really back and forth match. They got a lot of time here. I think it was about 12 minutes or so. A great display. Lyra Valkyria getting the victory here, which I wasn't surprised about either, because ever since Lyra Valkyria has been drafted into Raw, they've been pushing her pretty highly. Her first kind of run was getting into the King of the Ring final with Nia Jax, and then being a bit stale for a bit, and then now getting this Intercontinental title. It would have been cool to see Dakota Kai win it, and it was good to see that she did make the final as well, especially coming from injury, and let's be honest, not really doing much since, yeah, I guess being a face or being a part of Damage Control post Bayley winning the title. So yeah, it was a good match. Lyra Valkyria getting the victory here. Personal note, I think she's trying too hard on trying to get people to do her chant when the song comes out, the little woo when coming out. I feel like that needs to be done organically. Hopefully it does pick up because it does sound very creative, but you can see Lyra Valkyria is really trying to push that now. And going back to what I mentioned with PFC, it does look as though there might be an upcoming feud with them and Lyra Valkyria, which I think would be pretty interesting. But again, we'll have to see how this run goes. And for all like how the mid-card belts will go across both SmackDown and Raw, because obviously these are new and they're just finding ways to get the women's more involved, which I'm all for as well. And at the start, I kind of thought maybe there was no need to get the belts in, but I feel like they're helping a lot now because you're getting more interested and encapsulated in storylines as well, and feuds are still kind of are there. You can see Michin feuding with Chelsea Green, and you can also see PFC getting involved now with the Intercontinental Championship, which I hope does indeed happen there. Yeah, so then we move on back to main event. We have the second match of the main event card with Joaquin Wilde, part of LWO, coming up against Pete Dunne. And an expected victory for Pete Dunne here. Joaquin Wilde hasn't really done nothing in WWE, which is a shame because I feel like he's a very good in-ring performer, especially with his athletic attributes. But I think lacks the personality and skills. Not to say that Pete Dunne's personality is all it, but he's running with the B name quite highly. But again, don't really see where Pete Dunne goes from here. Obviously, he was feuding with R-Truth, but not really sure what has happened. I think it was a good victory with the bitter end. Great finisher, personally. And not really much to say with Pete Dunne. I think they need to find a way to incorporate him in the mid-cards, but I think his home will be at fighting main event matches and getting the wins, which is good for his confidence, but not being able to elevate to that stage where you're going to get, I guess, him getting victories on Raw at this moment due to the talent pool being so high. And then with Joaquin Wilde, again, as I mentioned, very good in the ring, but not really much to his character at this stage. I don't know what the LWO really do, if I'm honest. If they're not fighting other luchadors, they're just a big group that Rey Mysterio is somewhat mentoring, but it would be good to spice things up there. Maybe a heel turn or two would be nice, but I don't really think WWE has plans for them. I think Joaquin Wilde will just simply be put in like matches like this to entertain the crowd, give them energy with a few flying acrobatic moves, some jumps, some flips, etc., etc. So, that's not really much to display there, but another decent match for main event, and I guess a crowd hype going into Raw between the two. And the final thing probably to address, I know this is a quick one, but there hasn't really been much to talk about, really. We had a bit of a promo with Seth Rollins and CM Punk mentioning that they're both going to join the Royal Rumble. And then Drew McIntyre coming and delivering a promo saying that he's going to be also going to the Royal Rumble. And again, I just don't like how he's just come up and has been getting involved in this with, like, CM Punk and him are finished. Like, they stopped their feud. So them getting, like, interacting again, and then even, like, Drew McIntyre folding and not really acknowledging CM Punk there, it just feels weird to me. I feel like once their feud is done, they shouldn't really have many interactions. Like, it had nothing to do with CM Punk. He didn't need to go and say that Roman Reigns was corrupted. This could have easily just been a promo between Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a bit picky, but I just think that once you're finished with a feud that's gone on for maybe 10 months, I don't think there is a need for them to be involved again. And I kind of get what they're trying to do. I feel like Drew McIntyre is trying to push Seth Rollins to being a heel, to the dark side, to teaming up against one common enemy, which is Roman Reigns. But at the same time, I just didn't see the need of it to happen in that moment. There could have been better ways for them to do that. It has obviously set up a match for them next week, so let's see where that goes there. But again, didn't see a point of it. Just basically all three of them declaring for in what will be a very, 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 very stacked Royal Rumble based on the numbers and the players we've got so far, or the wrestlers we've got so far, and more to come. We've got Leaks of the Rock potentially coming back, Randy Orton, maybe Big E, and one that I'm probably the most excited for, which I really, really hope happens, and I think all of us hope happens, is the debut of Joe Hendry on WWE. So it's about 2 weeks away, so I'm really keen for that. I love the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble's the one thing that gets me going for WrestleMania. Seeing the unexpected superstars come back is probably the best thing about it, and then obviously seeing who wins and where the storyline goes from there. But I'll keep my Royal Rumble prediction when we get closer to the Royal Rumble, just to see how things are going to be going from now to then, with a few shows coming up, as well as obviously Saturday night's main event too, which hopefully I can kind of touch up on as well. We then get the main event of Raw and the final match between Damian Priest and Finn Balor, with Damian Priest obviously getting the win here with the basically South of Heaven chokeslam in a street fight. Not a fan of the street fight on Raw. Like, they're not as violent as they used to be. Obviously, it's a different era now, but I would have liked to see them fighting a bit more backstage and really getting into each other hard. But yes, obviously they were put through a few tables each, and it was a pretty good match back and forth. But again, Damian Priest was always going to get the victory here, and this finally puts an end to, I guess, anything that Damian Priest has with the Judgment Day. And then Finn Balor again taking another loss. Damian Priest getting the victory, I guess it's good. They really have elevated him last year. He had a really, really good World Heavyweight Championship run, in my opinion. I would have liked to see him have the title for a lot longer. But nevertheless, this was a good feud. Obviously, Finn Balor costing him. And now where Priest goes is an excellent question, because I think he's in the toughest position right now as a superstar, because he's obviously very talented. He's obviously showed that he can be up in the upper tier cards, but at the moment, if you look at how deep the roster is and all the storylines that are happening, there isn't really a spot for him. And I was listening to the mailbag last week on this show, and someone raised a really good point. Going back to the World Heavyweight Championship stakes, is that even Gunther, who's the World Heavyweight Champion, is not getting matches that are quantifying to the hype of what we've seen with Seth Rollins, CM Punk, obviously the Bloodline, and Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. So with all those things happening, I'm just curious to know what they're going to do with Damian Priest and how they're going to make him kind of stay around that upper tier quality, especially with him already facing Gunther, so there's no real World Heavyweight Championship chance for him, unless they want to run that back again without Finn Balor interfering. But yeah, I don't know what will happen. I think things have to settle. His time might be post WrestleMania, but I feel like he does deserve to be featured on a big card on WrestleMania. So maybe we might get him in the Elimination Chamber. He might declare for the Royal Rumble. But yeah, I don't know what happens with Priest now. And then in terms of Balor, it's really frustrating to see that he's just a jobber now. He just constantly loses big matches. But hopefully that will change. I feel like his time with the Judgment Day is done. I think he's got to move on. Bigger and better things. Hopefully in the future, yeah, they do something better with Balor as well. And I feel like, yes, he mentors JD McDonough, but I feel like he's better and bigger than being a tag team as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Again, as I say all the time, it'll be interesting to see. But it really will be interesting to see what will happen with the two of them. Obviously, their feud is over, and yeah, Damian Priest is a big fighter. So if he's winning there, they must have some plans, or they must have some ideas that he will be in around that championship conversation. So yeah, all in due time. We got WrestleMania coming up, we got the Royal Rumble coming up, we got Elimination Chamber coming up. A lot of things happening, yeah, to get us to where we need to be, I think, and I'm really excited for it. I don't know which direction WWE is going at the moment, which also makes me excited. And I'm just hoping that it's the right direction. Because there's so many things in my head that I can see could happen, but you never know with creative and with what Triple H is thinking. And I do trust in Triple H. I think he's done a pretty decent job considering a lot of factors and situations. But there is always room for improvement, and there is always ways where he can improve a little things. But again, lots of talent, lots of storylines, lots of spots to work with now with 2 shows being 3 hours. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. And then I'll continue to have a look at Main Event and I guess see where those superstars that are on that lower card fit into WWE, to Raw and to SmackDown. And then again with that transfer portal, just forgot to mention, maybe that will shake a few things up. What is going on with that at the moment? Because they've been chatting it up for so long, but when's that going to close? And when we're going to see more, I guess, transfers? I know we've seen a few, but there hasn't been as many as I thought. But yeah, hopefully that will get, I guess, cleared up. But yeah, that concludes episode 4. Again, as I said, apologies for last week with the microphone quality. Hopefully this week was a lot better. Next week, back to normal recordings as usual. Trying to get these out as early as I can. Obviously considering the time zones and when I get the episodes are a little bit different to when they air. So apologies for that. If you feel like the reviews are a bit delayed, if we're 1 week behind on SmackDown, 1 week behind on Raw, that's the reason. But yeah, it's been your boy Daniel again, signing out from Melbourne, Australia, and hope you all have a pleasant day or night wherever you're listening to this around the world. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.